What is up, everybody? It's me, Duke Farley, back at it again here on Lost at Sea. And tonight I am joined by 12th placer, I believe, fifth, maybe sixth,
12th, yes, 12th.
fifth or sixth person eliminated from the game of Ascendance Live Season 3, the
So
King.
it's 12th place, seventh person eliminated.
Seventh person eliminated, the King, Billy Stevens. What is up, brother? How are you? How have things been since we last
I'm
spoke?
excellent. I'm excellent, Jake. Thank you very much, Bart. And I've been stoked to do this for the last couple of weeks now. It's been so yeah. I'm just stoked to get into it.
Yes, and I'm glad that we finally got a time. I know that we had one scheduled, and then I think I fell asleep, and then it was announced, battle back. So I was like, let's hold it.
Yeah, let's hold it. Yeah, I think that was a good idea because
But Billy, I wanted to, before we get into the game, I wanted to ask you how your visit to, I guess, America was. Like, what did you do? What
it
would
was
like,
amazing. Oh
yeah,
man, it was insane. Every time I go there, every time I've been there so far has been such a fucking dream. The last year and a half now, I've had three separate visits. One at the
okay,
start of last year, one at the end of last year, which was where I played Ascendance, and then I spent a couple of weeks in Chicago about a month ago. So it has just been honestly such a blessing to be able to do it as much as I did. The last time that I traveled to America, Ascendance was one of the four live games that I ended up playing in the whole trip. And it was just a phenomenal time. Met so many beautiful people that I didn't know and have known. So yeah, no complaints from me.
awesome. And so when you went to Chicago, did you get some deep dish?
I did. They oh man,
Yeah.
that's just a bomb. I was like, you know how there's like some like food items that people hype up and shit like that, and there's just
Like
like when you
lasagna.
when you when you yeah, like when you hype it up and then you taste it and it's like oh well okay cool. But like no, deep dish was I'd have that shit every day if I could. That was
Yeah,
lovely.
that could be bad though. That could be bad every day. That could be bad.
That probably could be bad for your health. Yeah, true. Yeah, no. You're probably right.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed your visits. I'm sure
Thank you.
it was eventful, 4 games, that's craziness. But let's talk about this one. I want to ask you first off, Billy. I remember our preseason interview. Um, I want to ask you what your familiarity with just the game mechanics of Ascendance was, and was it what you thought going into it?
I knew how the format worked and all the team picking and everything like that. And I expected to go in like being like a very fluid game, right? So I go in, I start playing, and even though I expected what it was going to be, it was still harder than what I imagined because you are non fucking stop in that game, bro. Like even in the breaks when you're having like lunch or dinner with people, you see people like in their little cliques, eating together. Not cliques, but like the people who they feel comfortable with. And you take note of that and you're being like, oh shit, okay, so here's who feels comfortable here, or even who's trying to get closer with you. Yeah, yada yada yada, and like it's exhausting. But I don't know. I enjoy that. I thrive in that sort of environment mentally. So I definitely was. I feel like it's just like I had high expectations, and it still blew them out the water. You know. So
Awesome. Yeah. I want to get into the game a little bit. I want to get into
sure.
how did you find, I want to know from your perspective, how did you come across the pendant? I know there were clues that you came
Yes. Yep.
across.
Yep. So night one, right? You saw that conversation that Keaton and I had. I told them, hey, there's these writings on these little cards here, right? And I thought one said advantage. I think all of them said different. So, but I think my mind told me like, okay, if there's writing on there, it probably says something along the lines of. But later that night, Kim came up to me and said, "Hey, there was something similar to what you were talking about. It was a clue. And it was a pendant in the hand is worth two in the bush." And he told me that Rory and Connor had the clue together. And I was like, "Okay, cool." I told everyone, hey, just gotta bring my mum and dad really quickly, just tell them how I am, no worries. And you saw me in this other episode too. All right. I spent like a good 20 or 30 minutes looking in every single bush in the fucking estate, right? I was determined to get that shit. But I said that because there was this clue scavenger hunt kind of thing. That was the only clue I got. That was the only clue that I knew of the whole time. And we go to the next day. The end of round 2, we had just voted out Connor, and Josh and I were hanging. I'd spent the most time with him in the game thus far. I know him the night before I was talking with Rocky and like, I'm nervous, but like I tried to put that aside and be like, okay, you know what? I don't want to let past judgments rule over how I feel about this game because we've been working together very closely at this point. So let's see how it goes. Right after the elimination, we're both out downstairs, getting ready for the challenge, and he tells me, "Hey, let's just go and look for advantages and shit like that." And I was like, "Yeah, fuck it, why not?" We went around, and he went in under the stairs, right? Where he went in this corner. That's a place I hadn't previously looked, but he came out, and that's when I noticed a sort of big pile of rocks, and I was like, "He didn't check that. Let me go say that," and pulled it out, and oh man, like I was bro, you saw my reaction in the that like that was one of the best feelings I've ever had playing a game ever because bro, it's like I want to play Survivor so fucking badly and like finding an idol and finding a pendant that is like a bucket list item, you know? And
Yeah.
just I don't know, it was my inner child just like celebrating that I was able to achieve that. And at the point, I genuinely didn't mind that Josh found it with me because I trusted him. So I was like, sure, like I'd play it on you, no worries. And something that the episode didn't actually show is we made a final 2 right after that point. So we after that we went to the challenge, and then the scene itself was shown a little bit later, edited a little bit later, but we found it together. I feel like I'm drawing this out a lot, but like, yeah.
No, yeah,
It was such a good moment. But
yeah, and it was kind of confusing to see all the clues and try to figure out how you guys ended
right.
up getting to like Rebel on the side of the house.
Well,
So I was
I
like,
had people come up to me and like telling me these clues, and I just had to act. I'm like, no fucking way, bro. That's sick. Like you saw AJ in episode 4 being like, there's this, just so you know, there was like this cleaning clue or something like that. And I was like, here's brother, no worries. And like, I know I had the pendant, but at least like let me know, like, okay, AJ, I fuck with AJ. We're good.
yeah. There's multiple times throughout once you have acquired the pendant where it's like people are talking about potentially other people having pendants with you in the
Yeah.
conversation, and you're able to kind of just like hold your tongue and like
That
keep calm.
that was I think that was like one of my biggest goals and one of my biggest things that I had to tell myself because in orgs previously, I'm known for getting taken out and fucking myself over because of my mouth. I can't shut the fuck up sometimes. And I have a generally pretty big personality and pretty big presence. So I just spent every second just like practicing. Just listen, the eye contact, listen. Yeah, that's good. That's interesting. Every single time I could, bro. And
Do you
like,
think do you think the
honestly, in my head, like, sorry, continue.
do you think that once you got the pendant, and then you knew you had that security, it made you change the way that you were playing the game, kind of like take a step back and do what you were saying, kind of listen more than actually speak?
I don't think it changed how I was playing too much because I was already trying to sort of take a step back and be in the back seat because when I'm in front seat, I get the things don't really work out for me because I am just too very forward with what I do, just about everything in life in general. I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I don't think it'll change much. I think I think it made me more precautious, if anything. And I don't know. I didn't want to make a target on myself, so I just sort of maybe I did. Yeah, I definitely did try to chill out a little bit more because I was like, around before I was like leading the Connor vote. Like that Connor said in an exit interview, like he was one. That was I definitely throw his name out first. So I was like, I was so pissed about, Adam leaving the round before. So I was just like, no, I'm not fucking around here.
You did go to the first two eliminations, right, where you were vulnerable to be voted out. How did it feel, kind of getting your feet wet real early?
Um, I enjoyed it, to be honest. It was obviously very daunting, um, but I would have rather gone to elimination very early on than much later because AJ touched on it in every confessional that he's had. Let's be real. Love you. That is just like you need to get to those vote talks because that's how you build stronger relationships, and that's how you really set the foundation of how your path in the game is going to go. So, I think it is definitely a double-edged sword, but if you're playing it right, I think getting into those eliminations earlier, much rather than later, can benefit your game, and that's the mindset that I tried to come up with. Um, and yeah, I think the first three, I went to the first two. One result I wasn't happy with, the other very happy with. So I definitely got a little bit of a mixed bag, but there was still quite a few people that I didn't talk to outside of the eliminations as well. Like I remember, I don't think Taylor or Rocky or even Kira had to go to elimination like pretty in the early stages, and those were people that I really wanted to strengthen relationships with. So yeah, it didn't work out that way.
You did have a conversation with Rocky, I believe, on night one about specifically Josh, I remember.
Yes.
What was that all about? And were you guys in the same, I guess, org when Josh, I guess, did something to like try to vote
So
out Rocky or
I
something?
wasn't in that org. It was, but I knew Rocky and Josh were, and I was only following the Facebook page. It was Brian DeLeon's game that he was hosting at the time, and I just remember a comment Rocky made being like, "Josh, like, I wish I could say good luck. Like, I wish I could say good luck, but I'd be lying," or something along the lines of that. Right? I can't remember it for quite, but I saw that and I was like, "Oh shit, okay." So when I walked in for the first time, Rocky was one of the first faces I saw. I sat down and then I saw Josh and it clicked in my mind. I was like, holy fuck. Like and I knew I had to talk to Rocky about that. So because I had felt similarly at the time about Josh. I've seen him play games like making it to the end quite a bit. So I wanted to definitely get on the same page with Rocky, especially since Rocky hosted me in my last org that I played before Ascendance. So
Right. So you kind of had your reservations, I guess, from about Josh coming into the game, and then through
correct.
that conversation. So I know you mentioned earlier when we were talking about finding the pendant with Josh that you were okay with it and you would play it on him if
Mm-hmm.
needed. Is that, would you say that's accurate at the time and
Yes,
before all the
10,000,
shenanigans happened?
10,000, yeah, 10,000%. I don't know. I don't bullshit with that sort of stuff, man. The life's too short.
Right.
Yeah, my perspective on him really flipped in the first couple rounds because I was on a team with him for both of those times. We voted together and we had some really good combos. I know he opened up to me about being really sad about Connor leaving, which is why, like, one of the main reasons why I sort of stopped Keaton and Connor arguing. I saw Josh being emotional about it. I was like, okay, this shit got to stop, right? And then, we were both a little mad about Adam leaving as well. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let's the only way I'm going to be able to win this game is to be fluid. Let's not take, like I said, let's not take pre-game reservations into this. Let's play something new. And so when he found the idol with me, I was like, pendant. Sorry, when he found the pendant with me, I was like, honestly, like the only person, maybe Marcelo at the time would have been the person I would have been happiest to find the pendant with. But honestly, at that point, Josh finding it, to me, at the very least, solidified that he was my number one in the game. So
Okay. So before we get into the big juicy stuff, I want to ask you, how did it feel winning captain and with the trio that you had,
Bro,
And
I've been no, Duke. I've been wanting to talk about this, right? I've been wanting to talk because you saw that little snippet of confessionals that of AJ Taylor and I like talking about the Aussie Sarah Maddie thing. Like
yeah,
I'm telling you, I will bet my life that conversation between the three of us, because we were the last trio to go in that challenge. And so everyone was waiting in the Coliseum, like to go one by one, trio by trio. And once the trios left, it was just us three. And it gave us some time genuinely to just talk about the game. And I feel like I said, I'll bet my life to say that was the most important conversation of the whole day out of anyone, right? Because we figured out who we were working with together. We figured out Aussie, AJ led the combo of Aussie, Maddie, and Sarah. We
right.
divided up the teams together. So all of that team picking, like everything was planned. And like, I don't know, like to me, it felt fucking awesome to really mastermind that whole round. At least at the point at the time where we would get what we want. And I don't just you don't get the feeling much of really feeling in so much power. And when we won, we were like, okay, let's go to fucking work because we know exactly what we're doing.
And we don't really see that at all really this season
I'm
where
so sad that we did it because it was
like
it was beautiful.
we don't really see, yeah, we don't really see much captains on the same page, kind of setting up the teams to specifically get out people that they want. And that's
Mm-hmm.
a specific instance where we do. So I want to give you kudos to that for being a part of that. And, you know, you guys
Thank you.
ultimately did get
It
what you
I,
wanted,
I
right?
I will say in my mind though, it didn't go exactly how I wanted as it eventuated. We saw the fight with Ozzy and Emily in the Coliseum and made that the main storyline. And I thought at that point we were happy for both Ozzy and Maddie to go. But like as time went on, I was thinking to myself, I was like, oh fuck, it's gonna be Keaton, isn't it? So and then the elimination came about and I sort of realized that I was like, okay, fuck. Well, can't do much about this. Keaton's a good friend. Like Keaton is a good friend of mine. I've known him for now about 5 years, and I, yeah, I felt awful because I really thought that we were gonna get away, but it did not work out. At least it wasn't a blindside to him
Right.
this time. And it's also where you saw the Taylor and I like planning to throw our votes, one on Emily at the point and one on Aussie, which again didn't work out too great for me, but nonetheless.
Yeah. Did that ended up coming out back to they like kind of called you out there for that, right?
Yeah, and that was one of my biggest regrets from the game. Easily, I did like I don't regret not make. I'm glad that it didn't make Keaton's vote unanimous because I don't think he deserved that. But I should have just been straight up in my mind. I was like, okay, Aussie is going to. Aussie is a very straight up player. I didn't think had I told him the truth that he would have been like, okay, fine, like let's just go on and see what this is about. So I like tried to put. That's why I lied. I was like, okay, I want the door to be open, but as you saw, he didn't believe me for one fucking millisecond. So
Right.
as soon as that happened, I was like, oh shit. Well, GG.
Yeah. Well, let's get into this vote out here with you. I want to start off with, you know, you gathered the troops, right? I wore
Yes.
specifically this shirt today, so
Thank
for
you.
this
Thank you.
interview, you know, show the
I've
chest
got
there.
that. I've got that.
Um, so we see a split vote, right? First split vote of the season, right down the middle.
Yes.
Five, I think it was 5-on-5, right?
Right.
Um,
Correct.
and people that voted with you, Ollie, Marcelo, Rory, and AJ. Everybody else, you guys voted for Sarah. So let's start off with the decision to go for Sarah. What was that a what was the reasoning behind that?
So I knew I didn't want to go after either Marcelo or Ali because they were on my team. So that left either Sarah, Kira, or Josh. Josh, not an option for me. Marcelo actually threw his name out at one point. To me, I was like, no, 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 we're doing something else. And Kira and I hadn't talked too much game at that point, but Kira was definitely someone that I was just absolutely like infatuated by like personality wise, and I just like loved her as a human. I was like, I still had that hope that I would be able to work with her at that point, and that's how like she had everyone feeling like that. That's how fucking amazing Kira is. And so that to me, I was like, okay, process of elimination, Sarah, you got to go. And I also knew that Sarah was close with Ozzy, who knew I'd lied at that point. So I was like, okay, this is to me, this seems like the best option for my game at that point. Yeah, Marcelo, I knew Marcelo needed. I thought I had 6, obviously with Josh, but I was nervous about Rory for 5 seconds, but he told me it was good. But my entire time in that sort of discussion period, a lot of it was devoted to like telling Marcelo, bro, like I'm a massive fucking shield for you. You know this. Like, keep me in. You know, I'm never ever going against you. As you saw, it was a very tough. Like he loved both Sarah and I, so it was a tougher decision for him. So once he told me, I was good. I actually showed the pendant to Marcelo right before elimination, and I was like, "This is my word to you." Like, I would play this on you 10,000%. So yeah, at that point, I thought, okay, Maguchi, let's head in.
So you head in, and then there's a power play, right? Rocky plays the join a vote.
Yeah.
Is that kind of setting off an alarm in your head, like, oh God,
Oh
this
yeah.
might not?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I knew Rocky had it, and I knew he was thinking about it. I had a convo with him at one point, saying like, you don't need to play this at right now. You don't like, to save it for later. But he was being a tad wishy washy with me, but I thought Rocky wouldn't do this to me. No chance. Like, we'll be fine. He played it, and I was like, oh shit, okay. So a move has definitely been made against me. But I think that I still have the votes. I still have 6, right? I have AJ, Rory, who directly told me they're not taking me out. I have Marcelo, and I'll let Marcelo, who's told me he's happy to do it. Ali's never turning on me ever. And then Josh, at that point, I thought was my number 1. Why would he vote me out? So all right. Well, here comes the question I'm dreading.
So yes, so the question of the hour: how like shocked in the moment, right? Obviously shocked, but how hard did that take? Yeah, how hard was it to see Josh flip, and then publicly out the pendant that you had in your pocket at that point?
Oh man. It was like every single negative emotion that I have ever felt just entered my body all at once. Because I am a extremely loyal person when it comes to the people that I have been there for from the beginning. I just like and Josh, I thought Josh knew I would have had his back, and man, I just like it sent it was almost surreal to a point where it was like there's no way this just fucking happened, right? He's just exposed me for having a pendant. He is saying that my supposed number 1 is saying I need to go so the pendant can be flushed. And it's not even because, okay, I'm a threat or like I'm a backstabber. He's only worried about the advantage. And it made me feel not only like a dumbass, and look, I should have played the pendant, but shoulda, coulda, woulda. It also made me feel really fucking like worthless, right? And I can tell you, like, without a shadow of a doubt, this is the hardest I've ever taken an elimination, but it genuinely like felt personal at the point. And we've talked after the game, and like we're good, right? But fuck, the game brings emotions that people don't understand until you play. And when I yelled at him, that was just everything like going like coming at him, and just like I don't like going off like that. I don't. I try to restrain myself. Um sure, I like to yell out and be like cocky Billy and shit like that. But I rarely do I just let that rage at someone come out, and just man, it was it was heartbreaking. It was it was fucking frustrating. It was draining. It was just the worst backstabbing I've ever felt ever. And at that point, I just felt like, okay, well, I'm out, no chance, because I would have been mad at Marcelo and Ali if they had gone to rocks for me. Like, I would have been like, why did you do that? Like, I would have appreciated it, obviously, but like, ah, man, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I just spent that whole day after I was eliminated just and shell shock. Like I was bawling my eyes out at one point, not one point, but like almost the whole day. Just oh man. Even watching the episode back, I thought those emotions had gone, but they came complete. They came straight back, and I just oh, it was it was awful. It was just yeah. I did yeah.
Yeah, it was brutal to watch, I'll tell you that. And it's just so shocking that Josh,
Great TV
um,
though. Great television. My
you,
God. Oh,
you gotta give
get the
it,
punk on out.
you gotta give that. Yes, it was great TV. But time will tell with whether that was the right move for Josh. Personally, I've talked about it multiple times. I thought it was kind of out of left field. I thought it was un like it didn't need to happen, but we will see. Um, you mentioned you didn't want Marcelo or Ali to you would have been mad if they stayed with you. But obviously in the moment you want them to stay with you. What
Oh
was it
yeah,
like?
absolutely. I'm begging them. I'm like fucking flip, please, please, please. Like, but I like, I knew I was like, okay, like
So
I
you
know,
had a feeling that they were gonna switch?
Josh is one of the people that would be in danger to the random draw. Like he's publicly going against me. He's not flipping. I look at Kira and she's not flipping. So I look at Marcel and Ali. I'm just like, bro, and like with these fucking like adorable puppy eyes, like pleading for life. I'm just like, bro, keep me in. I'm not done. I'm not fucking done. And yeah, I think they made the like, but for me, honestly, they made the right call.
Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling we'll see. Obviously, have to see how the season shakes out, see if it was the right call to flip their votes. I mean,
Right.
Ollie's first
Well,
year. We'll see how.
I say that in general. Like, if they were limit, like, I don't want anyone to go to rocks for me, you know. So,
Yeah.
I don't just like I'll go to rocks for people, but like if they're like, I did, one in four chance of being eliminated, nah.
Yeah. 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 Um. So you're fired up. You throw the pendant at CJ and you say you're in trouble. Talk me through that whole decision and all that stuff. Why CJ?
I knew I wasn't giving it to anyone in that ceremony. I was just too emotional to even process what had just happened. And I was like, if I give it to someone who flipped on me, if I give it to someone who broke me out, nah, fuck that. And so I looked at the two across and I was like, you know what? CJ and I have regularly been on the same page. And I know he's around the bottom. He can do something interesting with this. CJ, here you go. No worries. Good luck with it.
So how mad were you when the next opportunity. CJ gives the pen of
It
power
was
to
it
Josh.
didn't feel real. It didn't feel real. Like it did not feel real when it happened. I was like, there's no fucking way that the person who fucked me over was given my attention to save himself, to take out the one person that was fighting for me the most. It felt unreal to me. It was like the worst case scenario just fucking happened. And oh my god, I remember Adam like pissing himself, just laughing at me, but like, you fucking dumbass. Like, no, you fucking dumbass, or some how Boston people say it, whatever the fuck. But I just, oh bro, it was laughable. It was laughable. Of course it happened, right? Like it just, the Ascendance gods were not kind to me that day.
No. Was it brutal? AJ walking in, was it brutal to see, and then him
Oh, it
explaining it to
sucked.
you?
It sucked.
Yeah.
I love AJ. I was rooting for him so hard at the time, bro. And man, I was just like, and I also knew at the point that like there was a battle back, so I was like, oh fuck, okay, so this is now I've got to like someone who can genuinely challenge me.
Right.
Because I knew at that point I was like, okay, it's probably going to come down to Adam and I. So let's hope someone who's like who's really going to challenge us doesn't show up, and fucking AJ pops in. And I'm like, okay, fuck, it's going to be more difficult now.
So at what point did the production tell you that you guys were going to be going into a battle back? Was it at post your elimination?
So I found out like right after my alien when I was packing my bags. So I was bawling my eyes out at the time. Memes comes up to me and is like, hey, there's a battle back, don't give up. And I'm like, and then I go back to bawling my eyes out. So because I it didn't even process to me until like a little bit after that, like I had a chance to come back. But oh man, bro, I feel like I was just playing. I think there's like evil anime character like anime characters when they're about to go on an absolute rampage, they just look like this, right? And
Just
the
stewing?
only thing on my mind right now is kill Josh, kill Josh, kill Josh, kill Josh, shit like that. So, I kill Josh in the game,
Yes, yes,
but
of course.
for legal purposes. That was the only thing set on my mind. I was like, if I come back in this game and go on like just, oh my god, I had a whole fucking speech prepared for Josh. So
So obviously the battle back happens. AJ, you make it pretty really far. It's you, Adam, and AJ all the way to the end, basically. Um how how difficult was that challenge, I guess, and how happy were you
I could
for,
have
I
done that.
mean, AJ?
It was difficult, but I could have gone until sunrise, bro. I did not care how much pain I was in. I didn't. I didn't care how much my hand was cramping. If my fingers were cracking, if like I was mentally losing it, I wanted back in that house more than anything. And I didn't care how hard it was. I was just like, okay, sure. Like I'm gonna keep going, no biggie. Um, and just I would have preferred to go out like just like dropping normally and being like, okay, well, I truly know that I gave it everything I could. It was the fucking transition that got me, and that's what annoys me. It was the fucking you have to put it in your palm. I realized that because of my height, I put the disc a little bit too low, and so it would have been a little bit awkward to hold it like this or this. So I was like, okay, I need to move the disc up a little bit on the wall so it's not awkward for me and I can actually have a shot. And as soon as I try moving it up, it drops. And
Uh,
oh my god. I mean, like the one thing I realized watching Ascendance is I'm like people say I'm over dramatic, but fuck, I'm over dramatic. I sat there for a good 30 seconds contemplating my life decisions. And just it hurt. Because I had I just done that transition, I was ready to go until fucking sunrise. So but anyway, again, shoulda, coulda, woulda. It wasn't meant to be.
It wasn't in the cards, but Billy, is there anything else regarding your game specifically that we haven't covered that you want to talk about?
I wanted. I want to give Adam some credit because he originally was my number one in the like night one. We just played Mayhem Manor together, and like when I saw him, I was like, okay, this is the one relationship that I have that no one really knows that we know each other, right? So this is perfect, and we killed Mayhem together. So voting him out the first week was the worst, the absolute worst. And that was probably my biggest regret of the whole game, not standing up for him a little bit more. I just had like I was just talking to him yesterday, so I wanted to give him that credit because he's a fucking excellent bloke. And I don't know, I keep thinking back to that and just I think and the what other thing is that even though I had so much anger, Josh, then we're good now, you know, and we've talked about it even after the episode aired. And I know and there's been certain points in like the Discord server, for example, I've been like, when people are like, go Josh, and I've been like, who? And but it's all fun and games and shit like that. And just just it was truly just once in a lifetime kind of thing. And I loved it so much. And just I loved everyone there. And I don't know. It just in terms of my game, I gave it everything I could. The one thing I wish could have done is like I think I tried doing backseat way too much. Maybe I should have been front seat a little bit more, but I don't know. I have a big presence that's pretty hard to avoid. But I play, like I said in my goodbye message, I play these games how I live my life. There is no difference between the two, and unfortunately, it just didn't work out. But fuck, I'm still, I still don't think I would have changed the way I played, even though I have some regrets.
Well, listen, Billy, as a viewer, as somebody that's been recapping some of these episodes, I thought you were on a trajectory to win up until the point that you got voted out. And I will say the confessionals were brilliant. I enjoyed all of them. The fire to get back in the game, I thought that was a great.
Fire and passion. Oh god, it was the. Hold on, hold on. Let me. Hold on. I've never had more fire and passion to end this exit interview. Thank you so much for watching Lost at Sea. But no, I'm kidding. I'm so stupid. Sorry.
But yeah, Billy, it was great watching you. And hopefully we can connect again. Down the road, talk some Ascendance or something.
Absolutely. Oh man, thank you so much for Jake. You've been incredible this whole fucking season, dude. So you deserve to like. I just want to give you credit because it's been fucking amazing watching the recaps and exit interviews, and like you're a fucking legend. And just thank you for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure. And yeah, mwah, mwah.